Hi, this is Lewis McIlveen with my TL2131 Assignment 2 presentation video diary. So within this video diary, my aim is to provide a placement overview, so what I actually did on placement, what I aim to develop on placement, how I went about that, and then also why that was important to me. Secondly, I touch upon the community projects that are available at Preston Grasshoppers throughout the year. Why they're in place, what the roles of the club are in this aspect, why they want to provide these programs for the community, how they're used as a catalyst through different other sporting organisations such as rugby football union, and then secondly, what impact this has on the society. So what are the wider social benefits of community-based programs, not only on the likes of the participants and those involved, but also on people who are involved in the running programs, such as myself as a volunteer. As I said, I was in placement with Preston Grasshoppers Rugby Football Club for a minimum of 30 hours throughout the year. Within this placement, I had the opportunity to partake in two specific areas within the club. This involved coaching the under 12 age group on a Tuesday, and then also had a match with them on a Sunday. Secondly, I was able to work alongside Niall Crossley, who is the dedicated community coach for Preston Grasshoppers, who has that dedicated role in running these programs that are available at Grasshoppers, and then also sort of providing that insight into what it is to be community based. So my own role and responsibilities within the club were to aid the coaching and development of the under 12 age group, furthering their knowledge and utilising their own natural abilities in order to bring out that self-esteem, not only to have the confidence in what I was doing, but also in what they were doing, and to make them feel that they were worth something to the team, they were an asset. Furthermore, I was able to assist in teaching and coaching rugby to 3 different age groups. This was representing both UClan and Preston Grasshoppers, and this involved sort of basic skill development and improving different aspects of the game. Additionally, in working with Niall, I was able to sort of analyse his way of going about coaching, so I was able to put into place different forms of recreational sport using rugby to different ages, ethnicities and genders throughout small-sided games, and this was sort of within a school and club environment. Before starting placement, I had personal aims and goals that I wanted to achieve. These 5 objectives were not only a personal goal to achieve, but also they were in place to challenge the children as well. I did this because of their own holistic development and to have that confidence in themselves and their ability, encourage creativity and to gain experience in different areas pretty much. So these were building my own confidence but also their confidence, gaining experience, having an insight into what social development is, how a child develops from being shy to someone who's a real character, and seeing them come out of that shell. Being creative, so not only trying new things as a coach, but also encouraging them to come to me with different ideas that they want to do, ways in which they would like to participate within sport. And then also in doing that, it was a great chance to put into practice professionalism, so my role, how I went about doing my job, and my role, my responsibility. This all can be related to the personal learning and thinking skills framework that focuses on child development and individual development for that matter, which encouraging independent inquirers, so there's the creative aspect, creative thinkers, again creativity, reflective learners, so what it is they did well, how they can improve on that, team workers, and also managers and self-effective participators. So several studies have actually shown that adolescent sport participation is related to self-esteem, so allowing them to be creative, to show what type of thought process they're going through, to have confidence in what they're doing, is all a major defining factor in how they actually participate in sport, how enjoyable it is for them, and also how effective that coaching and learning experience is for them. For myself, in order to be a good teacher and a good coach, Malik and Bashir argue that it's important to have a strong and effective communication skill, but also to have the ability to motivate others and have a sound knowledge of subjects and different scenarios. So again, This communication skill will ultimately come through confidence and that experience, so having knowledge in what I'm actually doing, but also the fact I'm confident about it will also aid their development. The fact they'll see I'm confident, they'll see I'm enthusiastic about what I'm teaching, what I'm coaching, try to coach these guys, but also that motivation aspect, so allowing them to somewhat lead the session, allowing them to become more involved, to feel as if they're every bit as responsible for their learning curve as I am, and I find that really encouraging for not only my development, their development also. Secondly, I'm going to move on now to the community programs involved within Grasshoppers. So Grasshoppers are a community club who are committed and dedicated to engage with and communicate to the local community, to promote, encourage and then foster the game of rugby at all levels. There are two primary ways in which they do so currently. This is through rugby camps ran through Niall Crossley, who's the dedicated rugby community coach within the club. This is aimed at 6 to 18 year olds throughout the year, during the holiday breaks and in schools. This is primarily rugby based as well, but they do showcase a lot of a different range of sporting opportunities, different sports, and then integrating them aspects into ultimately this rugby development. Secondly, school rugby development is also a massive thing within the club, so delivering free coaching sessions for local primary and secondary specialist schools. Also leading and strengthening links between universities, colleges and schools. So the likes of myself coming as a volunteer from university to help in running these different clubs and running these development programs. But furthermore, encouraging the use of the club's facilities, encouraging players to come in and to sort of build the club up as what they say they are, a community club. Being quite a big club, Grasshoppers actually go from the foundation stage of the continuum right through to the performance stage. However, this particular aspect within the club was to focus on getting that foundation level to this participation stage, to become a regular performer at the club, to commit it to the activity in terms of time and resources, and just to get them involved, make sure they're living that healthy, active lifestyle, as we'll cover later on in the presentation, as well as just making sure they're continually enjoying their sport, getting them into that rugby environment. So again, ultimately, why is this important? So the role of the community coach and the club is to plan and then deliver fun-based activities that achieve social, health and sporting outcomes. Additionally, in that community aspect, it's also important to build relationships with parents, carers, teachers, other club members, and this was actually identified by Cronin and Armour 2015 as an essential feature of a coach's experience. Preston Physical Activity and Sports Strategy 2015 to 2020 also states that the aim is to work with and support local clubs, schools and organisations with the aim that more people become and remain active more regularly. This was found through lancashiresport.org.uk 2015. Furthermore, however, sporting success can be defined and earned amongst peers rather than fighting in the streets in order to achieve high self-esteem and sort of dominance over one another. There's always going to be that, Nichols argues, always going to be that mutual respect. Ensuring sport, therefore, is always engaging in order to hook the child, allowing for that sense of achievement, involvement and inclusion. ACS, Distant Education, argue that one of the reasons why youth can become more involved in crime-related activities and involved in young offending is that lack of social commitment. So if we were able to get them to that participation stage, that's a big deal, because the fact that they have that social commitment, they put in the time and effort into developing that one aspect rather than, possibly getting into trouble with the law. And it's just a great way to get them out of that environment and into a good, healthy, positive learning environment. This then leads us on to what the wider social benefits are in providing programs such as the rugby camps, the school development, and also then getting involved with other organisations such as the Rugby Football Union, who do provide other aspects through Preston Grasshoppers. So what are they? These are the wider social benefits would be crime reduction. So as I was saying earlier, keeping young people involved, having that social commitment, social cohesion and that sense of togetherness through social capital, and also encouraging them healthy and active lifestyles from that adolescence age right through until adulthood. Social capital, therefore, has been described as the invisible glue that holds communities together by Rowland et al. 2015. Community sports clubs should be places that have high levels of social capital. Docherty and Missner argue that because they are dependent on volunteers to generate funds and manage the club. Secondly, because they require a degree of cohesiveness and appeal if they are to attract and keep members. This was done through Nicholson and Hoy 2008. Furthermore, it is shown how social bonds and bridges develop within the sporting context, how they actually aid to rebuild and build community networks. This was done through Space 2012. But furthermore, this active lifestyle, this is a big push at the minute through national strategies in which they want to tackle an activity. So therefore, programmes such as the rugby camps in particular are a great way to aid that sport participation. Montes et al. 2011 states that sports participation in adolescence is one of the determinants for leading an active life during adulthood. So not only does this regular sporting interaction and participation help NGOs such as Sport England achieve their goals in tackling activity, bringing in volunteers and getting more people involved, but De Monts also argues that within a sporting experience from childhood through adulthood enables important needs such as social interaction to be met. So having that social ability, the cognitive ability to accept the loss, to not get angry, to say well done, to have that fair play and mutual respect between one another, it's a big deal within current society. And therefore our role as a club, and indeed Niall's role as a community coach, is to get them children in, teach them different characteristics within sport. It's a very disciplined sport, so it allows them to progress not only in the sport themselves but also progress that individually through their own holistic development. Again, in relation to national strategies, I've chosen Towards an Active Nation. In doing so, the role of Towards an Active Nation is to aim towards that behavioural change, to provide partnerships, insight and evaluation into what it is they're doing, but they actually invest in that tackling and activity into children or young people, because this is such a big aspect in retaining, growing and improving participation within sport. This was shown through Lancashire Sport Partnership 2017. But then also in my aspect of things, the volunteering side of it, to bring in more volunteers to reach that mass market, working locally and also providing the facilities for local clubs, local schools to actually use. And when you relate that to what Preston Grasshoppers are doing, they're tackling an activity, they're providing the camps, they're heavily investing within children and young people. They've got more volunteers coming through these social links through universities such as myself volunteering. They're working locally, we're working with universities, schools, different clubs, but also then in doing that they're using the facilities that are available at Grasshoppers. In fact, in doing so, the initiatives available through Preston Grasshoppers is just to expose as many people as possible to rugby, and furthermore welcome them into the club and harness their participation. Speaking with Niall, his goal, and evidently the club's goal, is to grow that mini junior section, so that section which I am involved in, to over 500 children. Again, if you think about that, that's 500 children less likely to get involved in that crime, to become distracted through other means, and actually involve them, get them healthy active lifestyles, get them involved with social groups, building them social networks and building that social responsibility. Again, relating to Towards an Active Nation, it outlines that rather than focus on physical aspect to determine success, the aim of sport should be put on providing positive physical and mental well-being, that individual development as I talked about earlier in the presentation, social and community development and economic development. Social and community development recently has came into fruition in the fact that they've realised the value it is to get people participating. If not participating, they're wanting to strive ahead and move towards that performance, that elite stage, and there's nothing wrong with that. So as long as they're in the sporting context, that's all they're worried about. They want them to enjoy football, enjoy their rugby, enjoy their cricket, and in this scenario, this is the rugby aspect. Furthermore, they then work with like Lancashire Sport, in particular the rugby union aspect of it, the Rugby Football Union, in which they actually employ 150 community rugby coaches across the country who provide 30,000 coaching sessions a year. Just in sort of conclusion, it's valid to see that these impacts of the social cohesion, the togetherness, the social capital, the higher educational links, the community programs, how they're actually able to prevent that young offending, to providing adults with different opportunities through their social sides. It's evident that Preston Grasshoppers are a very community-based club. Their ultimate goals, other than the semi-pro professional teams in the first and second XI, it's just very important to them that they actually build their club and make sure their club is known as a community club, because that is the whole point in providing that participation, providing these programs, is to not only provide children with opportunities but also to grow them as a club. And I feel as if they're doing that reasonably well, in fact very well. And this is the end of this presentation now. Thank you very much for listening. There will be a reference list provided when I upload this video. Thank you.